Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Interagency Ecological Program and Data Management Showcase. So we're here to talk about a lot of fun data management topics today. For those of you who are viewing the YouTube live stream, please go to the link in the information to do check-in, because we'd like to have a good idea of the audience we're reaching today. And for those of you that are in the room, just letting you know that the exits are out the back, and if you need to use the restrooms, you walk out back to the right past that bank of elevators, and you'll see the restrooms right there. All right, so today we're going to be talking a lot about data management, metadata, quality assurance, and how all of these things are very interrelated, and how it all fits into open data, and how it all fits into open data. So to give a good introduction on open data, I'm going to hand it off to Vanessa Tobias.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So I'm Vanessa Tobias. I work for the Fish and Wildlife Service. Somewhere to put my coffee. All right. So my job today is to give you a little introduction to open data and hopefully get you guys a little bit excited about the things that we're going to learn today. So we're going to talk today about opening the door to data fairness. So forgive all the door images on here. Trying to go with the theme. Okay, so first thing we want to talk about is what is open data? Some of you guys have probably seen this before, the acronym FAIR. So it stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And those words kind of probably wash over you and you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? So findable means that it's not hidden. It's something that you can hopefully find with your search engine. It's in a place where people will go to look for data. So there's places on the internet, we call them repositories or data sharing platforms, where a lot of different agencies or people will go and put their data. So if you put your data in a place where people look for it, it's more findable. So that's a benefit for open data. Open data is accessible, which means that it's something that you can download and open, hopefully with multiple different programs. So we want it to be something that you can use again and again. And hopefully there are minimal restrictions on that data. So it's accessible to a wide range of audiences and computer programs. Interoperable is, it means that computer programs can open it and that the data can basically talk to other data. So it means that your data has enough documentation that you can figure out how that data would fit with another data set that you might want to download and use. And then finally, we have reusable, which means that you have it in a place that you can find it again. It's building on these other parts of the FAIR acronym. And it means that you can go back and get it, you can find it. It's documented enough that 6 months or a year from now, you'll still know what it means. You won't be guessing at like, what is that column with F's and G's and whatevers. So it's going to be documented enough that you or someone else can reuse it. So all those things together make open data. And we talked before about how open data can be a spectrum. But today we're going to be talking about things that are findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. All right, so you might be thinking at this point that that sounds a little bit scary, but I promise it's not a trap. But it's also not always easy, right? So there are some legitimate concerns with open data. And at the IEP workshop, we asked our group of attendees who came to our workshop on open data, what were the biggest barriers that they could see to implementing an open data framework and to making their data fair? And the number one thing that people said across all the groups that we surveyed was that they had a lack of resources. So a lack of time, lack of money to do this kind of stuff. The second, there was two other things that people said, and they're pretty closely tied across the groups. So a lack of knowledge and a fear that their data would be misused. So those are two things that we can definitely address today, because we're going to talk a lot about how do you actually share your data, what are the practical steps to making your data more open. And then we're also going to talk about some things that you can do that will help ensure that your data don't get misused. So we're going to try to address those concerns today. Okay, so how do we do this? So in IEP, in the Interagency Ecological Program, we are trying to create a culture of openness and data sharing. And I found this cool little graphic here that I thought was kind of nice because it shows how the pieces build on each other. And we're going to go through this pretty quickly. But the idea is that we're building step by step from infrastructure up to policy. And so you don't have to do this by yourself. So we're going to help you, and the community is going to help you make your data more open. So hopefully that helps things be a little bit easier. Okay, so let's talk about the steps. So the first step at the bottom of the pyramid is infrastructure. And so this is where I'm gonna have a lot of doors for you guys to look at. So the infrastructure is like building the framing on the door. It's what makes the whole thing possible. So in terms of open data, that means you need somewhere safe and accessible to put your data. So that's like those data platforms I was talking about. And the infrastructure addresses questions about where do I even put my data? Where am I gonna look for these repositories? And what kind of, when you say you need documentation, what kind of documentation? What do you even mean by that? So those are the kinds of things that infrastructure will address. And so today, we're going to learn a little bit about the options for the infrastructure that's going to support your open data sharing. The next thing is user support. So these are like the stairs going up to the door. It makes it easier to get through the door. So things like templates and user groups and things like that the Doug is putting into place where we're doing a lot of user support roles. So for instance, you've already seen a little bit of this. We have templates for you guys to fill out for your data management plans. So you don't have to figure out what a data management plan is all by yourself because you already have a template to help you put the information all in one place. So this user support step is really hoping to address the lack of knowledge. It's helping to have people understand, what do you even do? So hopefully, when we talk about this today, it'll help you guys get past another barrier. Number 3 on the pyramid is community. And so this is everyone who's doing open data coming together and supporting each other. And the reason that that's part of this plan is that the more people who are doing open data, the more people who are sharing, the safer it is for the community to do it. So no one person has to stick their neck out because everyone is doing it with them. And so the community will help you with support, and it'll also give you a little bit of insurance because if everyone's sharing data, there's less chance that other people will misuse your data because they wouldn't want it to happen to them. So it's a little bit of that golden rule thing going on. It also builds trust and transparency throughout the community of data users and decision makers. So if people are able to see how your data is documented, if they can get access to the same data set that someone else is using, it builds trust and it builds credibility. So that's a really positive thing for the community. Another thing that it can help with is for folks in the academic community, the fear of being scooped is a real issue. So again, if everyone is sharing data, if everyone's publishing data, you're less likely to get scooped. And that brings us also to the next step here, which is incentives. So these are your door prizes. So things that you get for sharing your data. So for instance, you don't have to just do this for the good of the community, right? You can actually get some benefits to yourself as a scientist. So if you are publishing your data in a place where you can get a digital object identifier, which we'll talk about today, you can get credit for that as though it's a publication. And if we start valuing publishing data the way we value publishing reports and academic papers and things like that, then you'll get credit for it. You can put it on your resume. Your boss, when you do your annual review, will be like, that's awesome, you published a data set, and we'll celebrate that. So if we make incentives for sharing data and we give people the credit that they deserve for the hard work that goes into this data maintaining and sharing, then it'll be easier for you guys to do it, and it'll be something that you can point to and say, that's a win, that's a product. So incentives are going to be super important. This is also something that managers and supervisors can help us with. Because if managers and supervisors are helping people make room in their schedule, make room in their duty statements for data publishing, it's going to make it easier for us to share more openly. It'll also make it a regular part of the science process. So just like now we do research, we collect data, we analyze it, we write a paper, and then we share it. If part of that process involves publishing data and sharing the data, and everyone's doing it, it'll just become a regular part of the routine. So that's part of the incentives, is just making this something that we can point to and say, hey, I did that, and it's valuable. All right, and finally, the very top of the pyramid is making it required. So making data sharing part of our policy. And so we won't talk too much about it today, but I'm sure you guys are aware of AB 1755, which is a California state law about sharing data that's related to water resources. So, but also when you publish scientific papers now, a lot of times they're requiring you to share your data openly, to publish it on some kind of repository. So we can write this into our grants and contracts and agreements so that the folks that we work with will share their data. And that's something that we can do to ensure that data is shared. But nobody likes to have policy hanging over their head, especially when they're not ready for it. And so hopefully by putting policy as sort of that last step in the pyramid, it's building on everything else. And so you'll be ready for it when you get a grant that says, hey, you have to share your data. So it won't be a big deal to publish it because you were already planning on doing it anyway. So the idea here today is to help you guys get ready for this kind of stuff, to get ready to share, to make it easier, to make you feel like you are supported in this effort to make your data more open. And really just, maybe it'll be even a little bit fun. So this afternoon we're going to do, if you stick around after lunch, we're going to do some one-on-one help. And maybe that'll make things a little bit easier. Maybe we'll start sharing our data stories the way we share our field stories. So that can be a community building thing as well. All right, so this is just the final slide to say that come join us, come join our data journey. And we're really happy to see that there's a bunch of people here who are interested in learning about this stuff because we think it's going to make our science process a lot better. And like I said, we want to build the community aspect of it. So today we have a lot of great information to help you guys on your data journey and hopefully get folks excited about data publishing and feel like you know the steps that you need to take. And so that's the end of my presentation. So I'm going to turn it over to our next speaker.
All right, folks. Thanks, everyone, for coming. My name is Rosemary Hartman, and I'm from the Department of Water Resources. And I'm going to be talking next about data management plans. But before we do that, screen just went dark. Because I went out of is it? Oh, heck. Let me just.
I'm not coming to help. I'm coming to get my coffee.
Okay. It's because we're replicating the screen. Okay.
Help. Sorry, I broke it. Yeah.
Let's do the old unplug it.
All right. Classic. Thank you very much. All right, so before we get started talking about data management plans, we're going to be using a little interactive polling trick here to get a little more information about our audience and what you guys are thinking and to wake you up a little bit. So if you could all pull out your phones or mobile devices or computers or whatever you got and go to www.menti.com, MENTI, and use code 517048. A question should pop up on your screen. What is your affiliation? And if you could just put in whether you're from a federal agency, state agency, consultant or contractor, university, Nutria, or some other category. And you can also, at any time during our talk today, if you have a question that you'd like us to answer but don't want to interrupt and wave your hand around, you can enter that here, and we'll be kind of keeping tabs on it and get to those questions when we get to the question and answer sessions. So just give you a few minutes to log in and say where you're from. Get a lot of state agency people. It's very good. Some federal agency people, at least one from university. Excellent. And if you're participating remotely via our webcast, feel free to log in as well and give us your information. This is also the best way for remote users to ask us questions. So. All right, very good. A lot of state agency, a couple other folks. Feel free to, I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint presentation at this point, but if you haven't logged in, feel free to do that at any time and give us your input to this question. There'll be some other questions coming up later in all these presentations. Ooh, still coming. Lots of state agency folks. Man, we need to get the news out to the feds more next time. All right. Next up, data management plans. And FYI, presenter mode works just fine.
It's just this is what's going to be on the YouTube is all.
Oh, gotcha.
So we'll do.
There we go.
There we go.
Cool. All right. Thank you all very much again for coming. And I know data management is not exactly the most riveting, fun thing to pull up on Netflix on a Friday night. So we're doing our best to keep it interesting. The theme for my particular talk is that data management plans are actually easier than herding cats. Data, for the most part, aren't as liable to chase string. So we can get all of our data organized in just 2 pages. Well, we can tell people how we're organizing our data in just 2 pages, and it'll improve all of the ways we do our science, both within IEP and beyond. So, if any of you are principal investigators in IEP's work plan, you've noticed in the past couple years, we made you do an extra sheet of paper, a data management plan. You also probably have to fill these out if you ever apply for an NSF grant or an EPA grant, and it's like, oh my God, another piece of paper, another useless form. Why do you make us fill out all these forms? Come on, I just want to do some science. Well, while it seems like just an extra form that is a waste of time, these data management plans are actually really helpful and useful for you as well as people who are using your data later on. So, for one thing, if you're starting off on a new study, this is super useful because you might not have even thought about where you're going to put your data. And being forced to write it down is like, oh, wait, maybe I should figure out what my backup plan is and where I'm going to put these things and how I'm going to share it. And if you do that before your study gets started, then you're not left with a giant pile of data sheets and no idea where to put them. It also increases the transparency of your process. When you say, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing with my data, it allows your grant writers or funders to know, okay, my data is going to be, my investment is going to be secure. This person isn't just going to leave all of their data sitting on scribbled note cards left perilously close to the trash can. It's going to be put somewhere where it's secure, findable, accessible, etc. So, like I said, we want the DMP to be only about 2 pages. It doesn't have to be crazy, but we do want it to be relatively thorough. So, simply saying that you have data like this cat is, maybe not quite. We have a data management plan template that's available on our GitHub site, where we have a number of resources from all the talks today, as well as some extra bonus resources. Lots of good stuff here. If you go to GitHub and search for the Interagency Ecological Program, all of our stuff is in the Open Data Workshop repository. And the template is just 2 pages with some basic information. It's sort of the big picture idea of what your data is and how it's being stored and shared. All of the really nitty-gritty details should be documented in SOPs and metadata, stuff like that, but this is your big picture. So I'm going to be walking you through all these parts of a data management plan and using the Fish Restoration Program's data management plan kind of as an example for what we're going for. So, first step, this should be the easy one, the principal investigator and point of contact, which could be the same person. However, if your program is larger and you have someone who's designated as a data manager who you want to be getting all the emails about data requests or confusion about your data, that could be 2 different people. So for the Fish Restoration Program, we have principal investigator Dave Contreras, secondary one Daniel Ellis, point of contact Dave Contreras. So pretty straightforward. One thing that could be helpful is if you have a programmatic email that is stable, and so if Dave Contreras ever leaves the Fish Restoration Program, which might make Stacy cry, there would be an email contact that the program could use, but not all programs have like a designated email, so just make sure you update your data management plan as staff changes. Next up is the data description. So this is just kind of an abstract, and it might be the abstract that you put with your grant proposal or your work plan element, just big picture stuff. What kind of things did you measure? A high-level idea of what methods were used, the time period that it covered, and also what wouldn't ordinarily go in an abstract was how big is the final data set. So, for the Fish Restoration Program, we got the who, what, where, when, how much. Fish Restoration Program is who, samples fish and invertebrates in tidal wetlands, et cetera, et cetera. Data includes fish and invertebrate catch, water quality, vegetation biomass, chlorophyll A. So this is the what. It has the where. In 2020, sampling will occur around current and future tidal wetland locations. The when, 2020. And then the why, so sampling fish and invertebrates in order to inform monitoring of restoration sites. And then the how much, about 30 megabytes in size for the full data set. So, pretty straightforward. Next up, your description of your metadata. So metadata is your description of your data. And now we want a description of the description of your data, so it's metadata. I had fun with that one. But just very basic, where can a data user go to get all the nitty-gritty details that aren't in your data management plan? What format is it in? And we'll talk a little bit later about metadata formats in terms of making them machine readable. But if it's just in a Word document, that's great. Where is it stored, and how can a data user access it? And then how frequently is it updated? So, for example, Fish Restoration Program says that the metadata, including information, geographic scope, etc., is available online with in the Environmental Data Initiative repository where they store their data in ecological metadata language. So that's the format. The location, they've got a link right there to where you can get the metadata, and update frequency, update it annually. And they also say, within their Access database, there's additional descriptions of the tables. Next up is backups. And you'll notice that in our template, we have a section about backups and a section about archiving. And there's a lot of confusion about the difference between these two things. Your backup is basically, if your computer exploded today, how would you get the exact desktop with the exact version of your data that you were working with yesterday morning? So it'll be in the same format as you enter and manipulate your data. It will probably not be in the same format that you share your data. And it's, the rough drafts, all of everything. So archiving is usually the version you share your data in. It's a stable format, it's QC'd, it's completely done. So this is your active, useful, the version that you're using on a day-to-day basis. And backups, where am I? So most people who work for a state or federal agency, often they're like, well, I put it on my agency server and I don't know if it ever gets backed up. It probably does. Ask your IT guy about how often the server gets backed up, and you probably don't even have to worry about it. If you're not in that situation and you currently have all of your data on your personal hard drive, consider cloud backups, external drives. There's a lot of options now, but just make sure you have some way of recovering your active working files. So I want you guys to go back to the Menti poll, and let's just take a quick idea of where you guys back up your data. And that means I have to switch over. Oh, good. We got a lot of people saying multiple places. It's always good to have multiple backups. Some people backing up in the cloud, a lot on the agency server. Looks like the Nutria backs up his data under the bed. Not really recommended, but if you're a Nutria, I guess that's okay. Some backs up on your personal hard drive. Okay. And I'm glad to see that even all of the agency folks who, they have their state agency server they're backing up on, they're going to multiple places. That's, I think, a really valuable way to do it. Give it another minute or so. And while we're waiting, how do we estimate the size of the future data set? That is a very good question. I would look to similar data sets. If you think you know about how many samples you're collecting and what kind of data it is, like things like raster files that have a lot of images are going to take up a lot more space. Stuff that's just fish counts is going to take up relatively little space. And that can, looking at other data sets can kind of give you an idea of what size you might be in for. You want to have some idea because that's going to determine your backup plan, right? If you need extra space to store this stuff, then that might cost extra if you're using external cloud backup systems. And so using other similar data sets to get an idea will really be helpful there. Cool, thanks guys. Going back to this and seeing if I can do it without breaking anything this time. Oh, good. All right, so now our example for backups was the fish restoration program, and it is located on a shared drive. That's the where. The when, this server's backed up in its entirety once per week with updates backed up midweek. And then an additional backup version of the database is stored on the environmental scientist's computer every week. Like, okay, hard drive backup's not great, but given that agency servers can go down and stops you from accessing your data for at least some period of time, always good to have an additional backup. So now archiving. As I mentioned, this is saving it for later. This is the done version of the data. The finalized, quality controlled, everything checked version of the data. And one confusion that we found with some of the IEP surveys is that this is not just, well, this is the done version of the data. A survey that is ongoing should still think about archiving its data periodically. So the whole survey doesn't have to be done before you archive it, but a yearly archive is kind of a good idea, or every couple years, because it forces you to make sure that the data you've collected in the past couple years is fully quality controlled in a state that you would want to archive it. Also, if your backups fail or anything about your program changes, it makes sure there's a stable version of at least a subset of your data stored for later use and discovery. So this archive should, as I said, be the finalized version of your data that you're really happy about sharing. It should be accompanied by good metadata so that even if you're not sharing it publicly, even if it's within your agency, if someone has to go back in 5 or 10 years, you want to make sure that it's documented in a way that someone can come back later and really know what you did. And if you're coming back 10 years later and Microsoft has updated to the latest version of Access, which isn't back compatible with all the old versions, not that that's ever happened, these should be in stable formats. So document formats that can be opened using non-proprietary software, kind of really basic CSV or text files rather than Access databases or Esri shape files. And on our GitHub site, where we have a lot more resources for you, there's a couple of documents recommending appropriate file types for different kinds of files. So I like this little mnemonic. You should follow the 3-2-1 rule when archiving your data. You should have at least, and backing up, you should have at least 3 copies of the data stored on 2 different media with at least 1 copy stored in a different location, which could be the cloud. So for the fish restoration program, it says that data is preserved on paper and digitally. So paper data sheets, that's one media, and digitally being the other media, is stored in the environmental scientist cubicles. Digital data, that's the second media, stored temporarily on the local CDFW server, backed up to the CDFW's Tier 3 server. So that's where it's backed up, but the archive is posted to the Environmental Data Initiative data repository. We'll be hearing a lot more about that later in the day from Melinda. In CSV format, and so that's the format that it's stored in. So that's following the 3-2-1 recommendation pretty nicely. Okay, another quick Mentimeter poll. How often do people contact you asking for some of your data? Someone says, never, no one cares about my data. That's sad. I'm sure people care about your data, but they might just not know it exists. Once or twice a year, once or twice a month, once a week. Like, if you're having to answer data requests once a week, I think we can make things better there. Oh, getting some questions here about the stable formats. So what is a stable versus unstable format? A stable format would be a text file. The .txt extension has been readable, or it's at least relatively stable. Most stable format for data is paper. You're always going to be able to read your paper notebooks, but a text file or a CSV file, any program can open those. They've been the same almost since file formats were invented, versus a Excel file used to be .xls, and then it went to .xlss, and if you use a newer version of Excel to open an old Excel sheet, sometimes there'll be glitches converting, especially if you have things like formulas in it, or date formats change, and so it'll be harder down the line to ensure that someone else is going to be able to open that. I also got the question, what data formats are ADA compliant? Because that's going to be a big issue for state agencies in particular. Short answer is I don't know, but CSVs are considered pretty good. They're machine readable, so a text recognition program can go through and read it for someone. But I will get some more information on that and post it to our GitHub site. All right, so looks like we got a lot of people who already share all their data online and so don't have to address a lot of data requests. A couple people who are having to address data once a week, more often once a month or once or twice a year. And I would say that for people who say, no one cares about my data, if you embrace some of our open data practices and get your data out there a little more, you might find that a lot of people are actually really interested in it, but just don't know it exists. Oops, sorry. Oops. Let's go back to the slideshow. Almost done. So, those of you who have to address data requests, especially if they're pretty frequent, once a week or once or twice a month, if you share your data as openly as possible, you'll end up, and if you document your data really well, you'll end up having to spend less time on data requests. So the Interagency Ecological Program is really recommending you be as open as possible with your data. We are recommending you post your data to an online repository. The Environmental Data Initiative is the repository that we're currently recommending if you don't have an existing agency repository. But there's many other online repositories. Many agencies have specific ones they like to use, especially USGS has really good data standards for archiving as well as sharing. But the important thing is make sure that you share really thorough metadata and quality assurance information with your data so that a data user can really understand it. I know people get afraid about being scooped, as Vanessa said in the beginning, but for most of the environmental data sets that we are using, first of all, if you're within a state agency or being funded by a state agency, and it's taxpayer-funded research, you're responsible for making your data available to the public, and they can always put in a Public Records Act request and get your data anyway. So we want to be as open with our data as possible and be upfront with this. And there's so many different possible analyses of the same data set, it makes sense to get as many minds on it as possible. However, a short embargo, so saying I'll post my data in a year or two after I finish collecting it so that I can write it up and publish some articles on it before other people have a chance, that's totally fine. Just try and keep it to a year or two and not 5 years. So, for example, Fish Restoration Program says that data will be shared yearly on the Environmental Data Initiative, as well as CDFW's Biogeographic Information and Observation System, as soon as reasonably possible, no more than 1 year after collection. And then there's the link to where people can access the data, as well as annual reports distributed on the Fish Restoration Program website. Okay, final couple of things. Format, pretty basic. You want to include both the general format, like it's an access, or general format, it's a relational database, and file extension, .accdb or whatever it is. If there's any special requirements that a user would need to open and access the data. And it's a good idea to say both the format that you're storing your data in locally and how you're sharing it, if those are different. So, for the Fish Restoration Program, field data is collected on paper data sheets or iPads with Pendragon Form software. Data collected in lab entered directly into the computer database, when possible, recorded on paper and transferred to the computer database. So we say it's a computer database, that's the general format. The specific format is Microsoft Access 2016. It's the software you need to open it. The file extension, ACCDB. And then it's published on EDI in a series of comma-separated flat files. So that's the general format. Specific format, CSV. So that's the sharing format versus the storage format. And then shared in BIOS as an Esri shapefile. Okay, quality assurance. We're going to hear a lot more about quality assurance from Rachel in a minute, but for your data management plan, we just want to know, where can the user go to find quality assurance information? Do you have a quality assurance project plan? Are there any SOPs available? And just enough information that a user would know how much quality assurance you've done. Not all the nitty-gritty details, but is it enough that a data user can trust your data? So, for FERP, all data collection SOPs have quality assurance, quality control methods, etc. See SOPs described in metadata for details, and contact Dave to get the documents. So this says we have quality assurance information available in our SOPs. You get the SOPs by talking to Dave. They don't mention a quality assurance project plan, which would have all of this information in one place, which might be a little more helpful for a user, but they're documenting what they're doing, so that's pretty good. Rights and requirements. IEP recommends that when you share your data, you do it under what's called the CC BY license, which is short for Creative Commons with Attribution. Basically says you can do whatever you want with my data in terms of reusing it and sharing it, but you can't charge for it, and I want credit for it. However, there might be departmental or agency requirements, and And you may want to include a disclaimer. A lot of agencies have some disclaimer that they want put on their data. Also, the Interagency Ecological Program is producing a draft publication standards that includes information on disclaimers and rights and requirements for sharing of IEP data. So for example, Fish Restoration Program just says that we adhere to all of the CDFW and CDWR policies on data quality, with a link to get that, and that it's published online using the CC BY license. The final note I wanted to make is that there's a lot of projects that are known as synthesis projects, so they're not collecting original data. They're just using data from other surveys that are collecting these data. And with the IEP work plan process, when we have a synthesis project fill out a DMP, often the PI says, but I'm not collecting any data. I'm just using other people's data. I don't need a data management plan, right? Well, if you are taking data from multiple sources, subsetting it in different ways, and combining it in new ways, that final integrated data set is really an important product from your study. And so if you are really creating a new data set this way, think about how you are going to share that, because the next person who wants to work on whatever it is wouldn't want to reinvent the wheel. At a minimum, you should document where your data are coming from and where people can find more information about those data sources. And if you have any code that you're using to put these data sets together, consider sharing that as well. So, in summary, data management plans will help you get organized. They increase the transparency of your data for the data user. And they let your funders know that their investment is secure. And really, this is 2 pages. If you're an ongoing study, you already know all this information. It's just a matter of writing it down and documenting what you're already doing. So, with that, I will take any questions. See if we have any online questions. Got one person asking to repeat the 3-2-1 rule. That's 3 copies of your data in 2 different formats with at least 1 copy stored at a different location or in the cloud. Any other questions about data management? Or cats? All right, I guess we're moving forward. What do you got? Says paper data isn't always an option, especially as our data sets grow, and it isn't a machine-readable format, which is very true, especially if we a lot of programs are going to immediately putting data into electronic formats, collecting data on iPads in the field, that kind of thing. But when you have a lot of, and like I said, paper is the most stable format, so as we're having these very large digital formats, it's kind of a moving target in terms of figuring out how to keep them in a stable format. And yeah, it's a moving target, and various tape formats have been used as the, additional medium in the past, and the problem there is making sure that you still have the machine to read whatever kind of tape you're making, or microfilm. Do you know what USGS uses in their vault?
Paper and magnetic tape.
Paper and magnetic tape, yeah. Yeah, so. Anything else? All right, well, give it up to quality assurance then. Thank you, Resi. Reset that for you.
Alrighty, good morning. My name is Rachel Pizer. I work with the DWR Quality Assurance Program, and I'll be tag teaming this presentation with John Franco Saraceno, who's our DWR QA officer. But first, I wanted to pan over to the Mentimeter for a couple of questions here that I see folks have already been starting to answer. So why to implement quality assurance in your projects? So I'll give you all a couple minutes to respond to that. Okay. I see a lot of to share information with downstream users, which is a big benefit to that. The Nutria just wants to keep busy. Yeah, preventing misuse of data sets, that's another really great benefit because you can communicate all the things about your projects. Okay. Looks good. It looks like most folks like to see the value of sharing their information with their downstream users. All right, we'll go on to the next question here. So what barriers do you encounter when implementing quality assurance? Yeah. Yeah, we've heard some from other folks before too that it's the time constraints can be a hurdle. They can be difficult to deal with when documenting all of the things about your data sets, and also knowing where to start, having some guidance. It's great to see some of you folks don't have barriers though. Give it another minute here. Okay. All right, and we're going to go to one last question here. And then this is a write in your own answer. How would you characterize the QA implemented in your current project? Chaotic. Honest. Highly regulated. Some, yeah, some interesting answers here. Not very robust. Lots of paperwork. Successful. hard to keep consistent. Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for responding and providing these answers. It's interesting to see where everybody is coming from. I'm gonna turn over to the presentation now. Okay. Okay, so on to the presentation. So the outline of our presentation, we're first going to go through really defining what is QA and QC and talk about some of the benefits of that. Go into the QA connection to open data, briefly go over the IEP quality assurance survey that was sent out, discuss key QA planning components and some key QC components, and then follow up with some resources for more information if you want to dig a little deeper. Okay, quality assurance versus quality control. Both QA and QC are terms that are often incorrectly used interchangeably, and that is because these concepts are so very tightly linked. So quality assurance is an integrated system involving planning, implementation, reporting, assessment, and continuous improvement. And it uses planning to ensure that quality data are achieved, and it uses processes, standards, and sometimes policies to accomplish that. So the goal here is to really prevent and eliminate errors before they occur rather than to identify and then correct them. And typical components include standard operating procedures, quality assurance project plans, documentation, and training. And QA really begins at the very beginning of your project when you have that first idea of what you want to study, and it follows every step of the way through to the final archiving of that data and the publishing of the final report. And then that information can be used in your next research effort, so it becomes this continuous cycle. And the goal here really is data of known and documented quality, because we recognize different projects have different quality assurance needs and requirements. Now, quality control is really about determining that the data that you have received meets the quality criteria that you had planned for when you were doing your QA planning. So this can involve process checks like blanks, measurement data like calibration data, and other processes. How are you going through to review your data? So what are all those things? What are all those checks and processes that you do before that data is deemed final and then shared? So in summary, QA is really the system and QC is the tools. So some benefits of doing quality assurance. A big one is systematic planning. So it includes all these different pieces of the pie. What is your project goal? What are your objectives? What question are you really trying to answer? And then your data needs. What type of data do you need to collect, and what kind of data is needed to answer those questions? Criteria. What criteria do what's the quantity of the data needed, and then the specification of performance criteria for measuring quality. Data collection, that's the what, how, when, where of collecting that data. The analysis, when you plan out your statistical analysis, that will help you to determine how many data points are you going to need to be able to effectively answer your study questions. And quality assurance. What are the quality assurance and quality control activities you need to do to ensure the quality of the data? So these are just some of the things that you will step through in your systematic planning process. And then there are a lot of benefits to doing that. So as you go through systematically planning these things, you can be confident that the data collection and the processes you're using with your data are consistent. You can know for yourself that you're following the same standard operating procedures, but anybody helping you out with your study, and anybody, for the long-term monitoring programs, you can know that somebody 5 years down the road is going to be collecting that data in a consistent way. And it's not just for the collection of the data, but it's also for how is that data processed, how is that data reviewed before it's deemed final, and all of these these things. And this really can help with your confidence. You know that because things were done in a consistent way, you're doing everything you can to eliminate the error and bias that may come from just, word of mouth or verbally sharing processes, because if we're not continuously referencing our standard procedures, we may inadvertently, make minor changes that could affect the quality. And as you're doing all of this thinking forward, thinking ahead, it helps to avoid a lot of the guesswork. For example, if you get some data back and your blanks came back with hits, well, what do I do now? Can I use that data in my data set or not? So through systematic planning, you're thinking ahead to answer a lot of these questions that will inevitably come up as you go through your project. And in addition, some of the benefits, there's a lot of benefits for downstream users. It helps to promote consistency across time, people, and space. So as you're following standard procedures within your study, you can establish consistencies through your group, through your agency, through the IEP, and so that can really help lift everything up. And then it helps increase transparency. You establish further support for confidence in your data by its users, and providing details and context for your data. So when your downstream users know how the data was collected, processed, analyzed, they know how all of those steps know the details of all of those steps, they can have a better idea of how to use the data. Is it appropriate for whatever their quality criteria are, and what is appropriate or perhaps inappropriate use of that data set? All of this, of course, also helps with legal defensibility. So if there are questions that come up 5, 10 years down the road, you have everything documented, and you don't have to think back to, okay, well, how did I collect that sample, or how did we make that decision? And then all of this is really critical for synthesis work. So as you're looking at all the data sets that you're pulling into your synthesis analysis, you have to have a good idea of all of the quality requirements and so forth, and all these details of those data sets, because the quality of the data sets you're compiling directly relates to the quality of the results that you are getting from your synthesis work. Now, so quality assurance and open data, as Vanessa had mentioned before, AB 1755, state water-related data is mandated to be open. And QA is a foundational component of open data. It fosters transparency methods and data, comparability, and also interoperability. There are a lot of different definitions for interoperability, but for the context of IEP, it's really referring to all those different aspects of a data set that must be consistent to facilitate integration of data sets, such as format and units and consistent common terminology. So when all of these consistencies are met, data sets are compatible, and making their usage and interpretation is that much easier. You don't have to spend a lot of time trying to convert one data set format into another and that kind of thing. And why QA matters to you. You may be doing a lot of these things already, maybe just not writing them down, or maybe you are. But what's really important is that through these processes, through quality assurance, you are developing you have a formal documented methodology. Everything is written down so it can be referenced throughout your project and down the road. You're establishing known and documented quality of your data, and you're promoting the appropriate use of your data. And also, reproducible data improves trust and credibility. It's all with this transparency. And then I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the IEP QA survey. So many of you here are principal investigators in the 2020 IEP work plan, and we'd sent out a quality assurance survey. And so the purpose of that survey was really to establish a baseline. What are the current practices in IEP for QA? There's no wrong answers. We're just trying to get an idea of what is currently being done. Next steps with the survey will be sharing this information with the IEP Data Utilization Work Group, the DUG, our broader group, and then that information will also be shared with the IEP Science Management Team. And really, the point here is to help to inform a conversation. So, what is the current? What are some of the current consistent things that IEP is doing in quality assurance? How might they be improved? What are some other areas that the IEP might want to take in terms of quality assurance? And with that, I'm going to hand it over to John Franco Saraceno.
Thanks, Rachel. So Rachel talked about the benefits of quality assurance in your projects. So I'm going to dig into what that looks like and what are some of those components. So project plans are high-level project plans that are documenting what you're doing. And then the quality assurance project plans are really those detailed mapping out of all of the different parts of quality assurance in your project. And that will include where you specify your data quality objectives. And that is, what metrics do you need to hit in your project to really answer those questions that the project was conceived to. Also, in those quality assurance project plans, you'll have standard operating procedures, and those will be developed for any process that is performed on multiple occasions during that project. And those can include things like how to collect a sample, or how is an analysis done on that sample. And we'll really have that step-by-step recipe for that process. You already heard a lot about data management and metadata, and that information would be included in a quality assurance project plan. The quality control requirements for that data that is collected in that project will be spelled out in the quality assurance project plan. And so will data review and validation procedures. So how is that data received? How is it evaluated for quality? How is it evaluated or assessed for its accuracy and precision? All of that information will be included in a quality assurance project plan. And then once that data is collected, validated, and reviewed, the way or the methodology that's used to actually analyze that data for its intended purpose, or to understand or assess that hypothesis or answer those questions in that project, will also be spelled out in the quality assurance project plan. And that could just include referencing what methods you're going to use. That could include actual code or processing libraries or packages, if those are packages that you're going to be using. All of that information will be spelled out in the quality assurance project plan, or QAP, as people like to refer to as. And the quality assurance, the QAP, really is the beginning of that quality plan, do, check, act cycle. And it includes all of those different activities involved in that cycle. And when you get to the quality control aspect, that is, how do you verify, how do you make sure that the data is achieving your needs, you're going to go through a lot of different pieces of information that are going to help you, right? So you're going to have checklists, and those checklists are going to make sure that you have what you need to do the job. That's going to include high-level lists of how are things done in that process. So, checklists could be as simple as, these are all of the types of standards that I need to calibrate my instrument, right? Or a checklist could be, this is all of the equipment that I need to go and collect a sample for that project. So it's analogous to a grocery list, right? Calibration and maintenance records are really important for ensuring that equipment is operating correctly and is going to collect data that is consistent with your project requirements. Training records are also really important for making sure that the staff that is doing the work is qualified to do so. Consumables would be things such as filters or water bottles or calibration standards. So keeping track of when that stuff was received, when it was opened, when it expires, all of that information is important for a project, so that if there is an issue that ever comes up, say the manufacturer of a filter issues or recall or something, you can very quickly identify which samples were affected and come up with a corrective action plan for that. All of, if something like that were to happen, then that would be included in an issue log. Issue logs are important for being able to keep track of problems and also involve management in resolving those issues. And another key quality control component that's used is data flagging. And so that data flagging can take many different forms. It could come associated with lab data. It could be something that project staff assigns themselves, but it's really important to include with the data so that downstream users can quickly identify or identify the usefulness of that data for their needs. And so, as Rachel said, many of you are already applying quality assurance in your projects, but the important part to note is that quality assurance is involved in many different parts of your project's life cycle. So it's in the planning, in that coming up with the study question, it's in the planning of identifying the sample types and procedures you're going to need. It's in developing those SOPs, and it governs how that data is collected. It governs how the instrumentation or the equipment that's used is checked and verified. It's involved in reviewing and validating that data. It's involved in developing what those data storage and data management plans are, and it's also involved in the publishing aspect in terms of giving that information to the user so that they can judge the usefulness of that data for themselves. And the quality assurance, program at DWR, and also the quality assurance that's involved in IEP, wasn't invented for IEP, right? We are just simply building on the work of others that have come before us in the environmental data and ecological fields. And so we're simply building on top of what they came up with and applying it to our needs. And so these are really the main authorities in environmental data and quality assurance. And so I would refer you to these resources for more information. And if you have specific questions about us or for us, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to see if we have any questions. We have about 5 minutes for questions. And do we have any on the Mentimeter?
Well, Rachel, how do you create a QOP for a new study where many of the details are not worked out? Should we wait until things become more clear? We don't have SOPs yet, etc.
So one thing to keep in mind about all of these documents is they are living documents. So I would suggest that you start to plan out as many of those details as you can. Start working with those SOPs, maybe trying to identify if there are maybe any other published SOPs that you could just, reference so that you're not recreating the wheel. And so, so that's what I would recommend. Just updating them and filling in those details as you can.
And another one from online. Sometimes QA/QC flagging is so complex that downstream users are unable or unlikely to correctly interpret what is acceptable data for their project. So what should they do?
Well, I think this is one of the things that we're actually trying to work with our program so our program in DWR, we're working with the state board trying to establish some consistent language between our agencies, trying to work more towards a California standard, I guess, for these flags and for just kind of glossary of these terms. Like, there's a lot of unfamiliar terms when you talk about quality assurance or open data and all of these things. So so we recognize that is an issue, and we are trying to collectively work on that.
This is a nice one for you, Rachel. What kind of QA-related services does the QA program provide?
So yeah, the DWR QA program, we are trying to really provide a lot of support. We're specifically right now, within DWR, we are trying to reach out to the IEP and help provide a little bit of guidance there. Some of the things that we can help within DWR is in reviewing SOPs, reviewing QAPPs, trying to provide some guidance on how to do those, documents. We have monthly meetings to really talk about any kind of issue. So we really welcome you to reach out to us and let us know what issues are you dealing with, what are you struggling with, how can we help? And so there's a lot of different things that we can help out with. Is that it? And any other questions? Yes? What type of licensing does EDI subscribe to? I don't know if we have a whole section after the break where we're going to get into some of the details of the EDI, and I'm not sure, Melinda, if you had any thoughts of that. That might be something.
Yeah, so what they do is, oh, thank you. So they automatically have a default of just anybody can use it and you don't even need to attribute it to anyone, but they offer you options. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, then they recommend CC BY, which is what we went with because we feel that the scientists deserve the credit for their work.
Just to add to that, and they have like their template license, and you can edit that as much as you want. If you want to add other restrictions on use of the data, it's pretty straightforward to do that.
Okay, great. Well, I think now we'll take a break. Looks like we're about, I think, 5 minutes ahead, so we'll take a 20-minute break and come back at, was that 10:40? Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to hand this over to talk about metadata magic. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
All right, thanks for staying with us. So before we start talking about metadata, you probably got this packet of paper I wanted to go over real quick with you guys. First, the agenda is in the front. You've also heard through our PowerPoint presentations, if you flip it to the back, we have our GitHub page on there. So actually all of our slides, templates, everything is on our GitHub under the Open Data Workshop. So if you have a computer, you can go ahead and log on to that. And if we also have templates printed out. So if you want to start filling in your DMP template, your metadata template, you can here, or you can download it online and start filling it out too. So if you're one of those people who like to do two things at once, you can absolutely do that. There's instructions in here for the data management template, the metadata, and then Rachel in the back has some great links for some additional QA/QC resources. So I will definitely be referencing this document in this presentation. So keep it handy, grab a pen, your computer, or whatever you would like to take notes with. So with that, I am Jenna Rindy. I'm from the California Department of Water Resources.
And I'm Katarina Pian, also from Department of Water Resources.
And we really went all in with our theme, Metadata Magic, so I hope you enjoy it. And so we're going to perform some magic for you today. Yeah, woo! And we even stuck with the Nutria theme, so he's going to help us out through this presentation. So again, we're about to do a magic trick. We have a Nutria to help us out. And as a data generator, I know how daunting it can be to document everything. You're doing so much field work. And for metadata, you're just wanting to put it all in one place in a format that you can easily read, other people can easily read. It sounds easier than done sometimes, but I'm promising you it is possible. Because as we generate data, we have various field crews that we want to document who is out there and what they collected. So we'll kind of throw that into the hat. We collect various types of instrument, or we monitor or use different types of instruments, such as the exosons. Just throw it in the hat. Gear types, we have different zooplankton gear types, fish, etc. Just throw it in the hat. Different water quality analytes, different, just throw it in there, and we're going to help you with a magic wand to make it into a single format, and it'll be a spectacular metadata document. So we hope you enjoy this. We hope it make it easy for you, and Kat will take us from here.
So what is metadata? Basically, metadata is data about your more traditional Excel file or CSV that you're thinking about. And it's really, even though it's often thought of as more of a companion or even an afterthought, it's really essential to understanding your data set. Both important for you and your staff to document what you're doing, because you might be doing a lot of different things and forget over time what kind of changes you've made, and also really useful for other people who don't know what you're doing, and helps educate them on how to better use your data, or understand if they can use your data at all. So I'm going to get into a little bit more about what counts as metadata, what types of questions you might be answering with your metadata document. So a couple questions you'll be answering are the who, what, where, when, why that have been talked about a little bit already. So you'll see some similarities here with the data management plan that Rosie talked about. We'll be answering a lot of the same questions, but with a little bit more detail here. So the who, you might want to indicate who your data manager and program manager are, so that people can get into contact with them for their data or talk about the program. Your funding sources, if you have those for your program or study. You want to talk about the what, so what kinds of data are in your data set. Do you have water quality? Are you collecting fish, zooplankton, phytoplankton? Just talk a little bit about what people are expecting. Your where will be overall region, maybe the delta or yellow bypass, as well as your specific lat-long coordinates. Your when will be your sampling dates. You can talk about, the whole range of your study, or also include specific seasons that you're going out, anytime you've changed the dates here. And we'll talk about, we'll go through specific examples later. So I'll talk a little bit more later about all of these categories. The why, there's an abstract that Rosie talked about and Jenna will talk about. And here you'll include why are your data being collected, what's a little bit of background about your project or your study. And then the big question that you're going to answer here is the how. So people might really want to know exactly how you're doing things. So you want to get really specific about the gear and instruments you're using, your fields, procedures, lab procedures, what you're doing for QA/QC, your analysis, so any calculations you're doing, like catch per unit effort, and then any issues that might have affected your sample quality, like environmental changes or something wrong with the gear, and then changes to procedures over time. So changes to anything, site, gear, location, those types of things are really important to document. So you can pull out your phones again. We're going to do 3 questions on the Mentimeter. So I went over some of the different types of characteristics that you might describe in your metadata. So the first question is, what types of metadata do you find most useful as a data user? And there's a whole list, so you can pick up to 3. Okay, so far it looks like sampling procedures and calculations are some of the more common ones that users will be using. Study site locations. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. So next, how are your metadata documented? And be honest. So it looks like here, let's see. We have a lot of people spreading it out into multiple documents. This is kind of what we had for a while and are trying to improve. Or a single document saved internally. And good, a couple people have it published online as well. The Nutria has somehow been able to scribble them down with his paws. Okay. And then last question, this is an open-ended question. So what are your greatest challenges with metadata? And based on what you guys come up with, maybe we can address some of these during our talk today.
The good old Nutria. Yep. Yeah, we're both in the field quite a bit, so we're absolutely understanding a lot of these challenges of finding the time, things changing quickly. Yeah, just doing it, keeping it organized. Yeah. So at least, so we do have a template in your packet, so hopefully we're gonna go through that step by step, and hopefully that will really help. I know for me, just having a template saved me a tremendous amount of time to store all the information. So I think this presentation will be really helpful for a lot of you here.
Yeah, and in terms of time, it might help just to start anywhere. So I'm going to talk a little bit later about historical changes, which can be a challenge. But just starting to document anything that you're changing right now can be really helpful for people in the future once maybe somebody's actually assigned to write down a metadata document, anything you can think of. And then if you change anything, of course, it's helpful to know when you're doing it. And yeah, we have a template, so that might address some of the concerns with actually having something to follow. And we have, I'm going to go through examples, but there are actual examples published on EDI that you can follow that shows exactly what people have done. Okay, so I'm going to move back to the presentation. Oh, and it's Jenna's turn.
All right, thanks, Kat, and thank you for answering the questions. One thing I've seen, so I also have collected continuous water quality monitoring, and I saw a question earlier about how does the DMP relate to continuous monitoring, and then there was another question, comment right here is continuous data needs a template. Our templates, you can use them. They are directly applicable to continuous water quality monitoring. If you have questions on how, come talk to me after the break. I can easily help you. So with that, let's go ahead and continue. So with some of the comments we just received, metadata can give you a lot of benefits. For me, my metadata document is my cheat sheet. It is my go-to. I have it printed next to my desk. If someone needs to use my data, I'm like, here's my metadata. It's my go-to document for everything. As a data generator, I can feel for the multiple documents. I used to have, like, the sticky sheets on your computer. I had little quick notes like, don't forget to update metadata with XYZ thing. So I understand like in a long-term program, things can change really quickly, but if you have this template, you can easily just add it in, create a new version. So we're all gonna help you with that. And by having it in one place, it'll help you save you time so you can reference one spot instead of trying to find it in many different areas. And also will help your data users use that data for finding it in one place. It'll help your data users make sure everything's properly used, so there's less fear of misuse of your data if it's properly documented. And that is huge for all the synthesis efforts going on in IEP, is we really want to make sure we're documenting what gear types we're using, what quality assurance procedures, who's collecting it, and the time frames. So if you have it all in one place, it saves you time, saves the data users time as well. Metadata can have a couple different types of formats. The one most people are familiar with is human readable. I know for us, we've always had it in like a Word document. So today we will be starting with a Word document so you can fill that out. We're gonna walk through it step by step. But a key important thing about metadata is you also want to have it machine readable, which this can look really like daunting, like, whoa, what is that? But with the world of increasing portals, you want to make sure your metadata can be interoperable between all of them and easily exchangeable. So we will be working with that. But first we're gonna start like step by step. So we're gonna start with this Word document here. So this is where I was talking about, if you want to, you can pull out the packets we provided for you, because it might be really useful for me. I find having a pen and take notes as I go really helpful. And then if you have specific questions, we're here now. If you have a quick question, please just raise your hand. If you think it's super quick, just raise your hand or we'll be checking the Mentimeter. And then we're here also in the afternoon to help out with any really specific detailed questions you have. So with that, so this is our IEP template for metadata. It follows a very, very similar template to the Environmental Data Initiative, which we've been kind of teasing you with. And Melinda is going to go much more detail about it. But the great thing about this template is if you do want it to be that machine readable format, you can start with this simple Word document and we can help you turn it into a machine readable format. And then with that, for formats, IEP, we chosen the ecological metadata language, EML, and so that can be machine readable and easily interoperable between different systems. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So for your dataset title, if it is IEP affiliated, which I think most of you here, that's why you're here, we recommend starting your dataset title with Interagency Ecological Program, your study. So you want it to be really specific, more than 5 words. And then you can also have a shortened named. So for my study, I have IEP, and my study is the Dissolved Oxygen Stockton Deepwater Ship Channel Study. So it's an acronym for a really long title. The abstract, we've been talking about abstracts a lot. You're like, oh, do I really have to write another abstract? Because we do it for our IEP work plan. We have it for our data management template. You can essentially copy the same one over. You don't have to create a new one. Just make sure if you are making this published on a repository like EDI, you want to make sure it can be applicable to a broad audience and not just IEP. Then you can list the principal investigators. So this is what is shown if you make it published. And so we will have IEP listed, and then you can list your people who collected the crew and all of that. So we're going to go into a deeper example here. So for example, we listed Interagency Ecological Program first. We put that under the last name, and the reason why it's there for a reason is so if you do choose to put on EDI, it will look nicely on the visually when you see on the interface. And then another important role is to make the role in project for IEP the creator. Then, for example, I have myself as the data manager listed and my supervisor. And something, if you're not familiar with, you are seeing what's this ORC ID. If you're not familiar with it, an ORC ID is an Open Researcher and Contributor ID. And it's an ID that links to your profile, and it can store all your professional information and your accomplishments. It's free, it's easy to sign up, the link is on there, and you can easily have that associated with your data as well. And then you can add additional historic field crew or supervisors. So for here, we have some of the historic PIs listed, but you can also add, boat captains, technicians, or anyone that's associated with their study, their role, and if it's interagency, you can list multiple different agencies or organizations and the ORC IDs and their contact information. And so the next thing is we've been talking about licenses. So as IEP, we recommend, or for Doug, we recommend the Creative Commons, the CC BY. And Rosie kind of touched upon this, saying, that you can use this data, it's open access, we're not selling it, but please give the appropriate credit. And we're gonna be talking about, we're using a lot of acronyms like digital object identifiers, but they're basically a bunch of links or codes, so you get credit for all the work you're doing. So Melinda will touch upon that more. And in your metadata document, you can have keywords, so it's searchable for when it's a machine-readable format. And we've done some research, and the National Science Foundation has the long-term ecological research, and they have this standard keyword vocabulary. It's very intensive, and I think all of us, it's fit most of our needs. So we recommend using those keywords, and you can look them up with that link right there. So for my data set, for example, I have water quality, dissolved oxygen, and the word monitoring. I don't think there's a limit. I think you can put several keywords on there. And then with that, you can create your own custom keywords. So we have the Interagency Ecological Program for the San Francisco Bay Estuary, and then for our agency, the California Department of Water Resources. There is a spot for funding. If you choose not to disclose your funding, that is okay. A lot of these fields can be optional if you do not want to disclose it. So, but if you do, you can say the title of the grant you have, the agency you got it from, and any other additional information. Then you also want to list the time frame. So if you are in a long-term study or a monitoring program, the dates can be tricky because some stations are only available for certain times. This is not where we're talking about it. This is just the general, when did you start the program, and is it ongoing, did you end it, and if so, when did that end? So it'll be a brief description. I'll talk about the really nitty-gritty details about changes later. And then there's also a spot for the geographic location. This is also a very broad, like, where is your study region? And so you can give a verbal description of just a general area, and then the boundary region of your study coordinates. And I know when I first did this, I was like, how do I figure that out? So I'm a visual person, so the easiest thing for me was I plotted my stations in Google Earth. You don't have to plot all of them. You can just plot I think most of us know what our furthest north, south, east, west stations are. You can just plot those, and then you can go to the view and then select the grid option, and you'll see kind of the grids on the screen, and I kind of just picked the boundary coordinates closest to my stations, and then wrote those down. Another great trick is if you're just wanting to do it as quick as possible, we have all of our Latin longs in a CSV file, so you can filter smallest to largest, and for the latitude, that will give you the north and south one, and then For the longitude, I'll give you the east and west if you sort it smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So there's a couple different options. It's really easy. It's not as scary as you think it is. You don't have to know any technical GIS stuff.
So in the template, there's also a section for taxonomic species or groups, and you can decide what you want to do here based on what organisms you're working with and what you think is going to be most useful to yourself and other people. So you could choose to just put the most common or relevant groups in your taxonomic categories. So like for the zooplankton, you might not need to go all the way to the detail family. You could just include these orders and suborders that people talk about more in their studies. But you could choose to have more detail if you want, and include the full list of your taxa if you just want it all on there, or if you find that useful. So now I'm going to talk about methods, which is going to be the bulk of your metadata. You can get into a lot of description here. So Jenna and others have mentioned that your metadata are useful for other people, but also really useful for yourself in-house. I was new a couple months ago, and so I went to the metadata to really read about what we were doing. We have a lot of different parameters we're collecting and a lot of procedures along the way. And so being able to go to one place where that's all laid out is really helpful for new people. And if you have disagreements within your section about what you're supposed to do, people who have been there a long time versus new people, it's also a good place to just document what you have all decided. So there are a couple different categories for methods here. I'm starting with field. So of course you want to talk about the different parameters you're collecting. So your gear that you're using, the units and uncertainties associated with your gear. If you're collecting biological information, also details about how long you're doing your sample, what kinds of solutions you're storing your samples in and for how long. You also want to talk about anything that might change your sampling procedures, such as high levels of debris or high flows might cause you to shorten your sampling times. This will be really helpful for people looking at your data and wondering why things are not consistent. As I mentioned, instruments and equipment, it's really helpful to actually have the brand name and model number for what you're using so that other people can replicate your methods, buy similar equipment if they want to be comparable to your data. So lab methods, this can be what you do in-house, like filtering or transferring, as well as anything that you send off. So for example, we have sample transfer for our zooplankton, and again, you just want to talk about exactly what you're doing. You want to mention any contractors that you're sending your samples to. And then you also want to talk about what they're doing. So this part can be harder to figure out because these are methods that you're not actually doing, and you can't necessarily ask someone at your office what's being done. So you could go into your contract language to look for some of this information. You'll often have specified in the contract what the contractor should be doing, what taxon they're identifying to, what kinds of equipment they're using, what are their volumes, and some of the more confusing things there. You can also contact other labs, like your water quality labs or the contractors, to figure out what they're doing if it's not specific enough. So QA, QC, and archiving, you want to talk about all of those procedures. So QA, you want to talk about your calibrations, how often things are calibrated, what sensors are being calibrated. You want to also talk about the QC that your contractors as well as your own crew is doing. So like for us, we have QC in the field and on the database. There are often checks on the database. As well as if you're publishing data, you might want to QC your historical data as well. So you just want to talk about all of those. And then archiving has already been talked about, but you just want to, again, specify where everything is stored. If you have paper, if you have digital, if you have, photos of your paper data sheets, which we do have, just so that people know where things can be found. And then the historical changes is the part I found most challenging. Any long-term program or study is going to change their methods at some point, either because they have to, like a lack of funding or any obstacles in the environment, or they might have new questions that they're trying to answer, and so might increase sampling for a period of time during high flows or during drought or when certain species are declining, things like that. So you want to make sure to explain why you're making any changes you're making and really describe them. So a couple of examples of things you want to describe are any changes in gear. You might change the types of gear, the sensors on them, or how many of a sample you're doing. Changes in sites. So if you have added sites, taken away sites, or maybe slightly moved them, you want to record any new lat lons and talk about any sites that maybe are the same but have different names, those kinds of things. Environmental obstacles like water hyacinth might be impeding your site, so you might move your sample down a little ways, something like that. And then changes in frequency of sampling as well. So as I mentioned, you might be increasing or decreasing your sampling for a period of time. You just want to document those changes and when you go back to normal. And then analyses, CPUE is often the most common calculation that you're going to have in your data set, and everyone might calculate CPUE in a different way. With the increase in synthesis projects, it's important to just tell people how you're calculating your values so that if they want to calculate something a different way, they can, or they can check on your calculations or look at just subsets of your data.
All right, that was a lot of documentation. Let's actually talk about the data itself. So earlier we talked about having it in like a simple format. So most of us have stored it as CSV files. And so you don't have to put all your data into one CSV file. You can have multiple types. So for example, for our data set, I have the data itself, but then I also have a separate CSV for all of our latitude and longitudes and any other associated metadata for those specific stations. So that is absolutely possible, but I'm just going to talk about how to organize the data table right now. So for example, here's a set of my data table. When you write this in your metadata, for the column name, you want to be as specific, like same exact as you have it in your data itself. You don't want to use spaces or special characters. You have to pay attention to upper and lowercase. So just make it as specific as possible. But when you describe what that column or variable, or what that column is, you be as specific as possible. So date, okay, is it the date of the sample, the date of the event, any other information. So for example, we have specific conductance at the bottom and at the top. So I have that listed here. Units. In our actual CSV file, we don't have units specifically spelled out. We have it all listed in our metadata document. So you want to make sure you have that in your metadata. So for example, have date is month, day, year with 4 numbers. Units are also spelled out. They're not shortened or abbreviated. And I think what I noticed in the QA talk is quality codes can be very daunting, that there's so many. You can have your own separate table, or you can document them here of, if a sond is out of water, sometimes it's standard to make it like a really obvious number, like negative 99, like 99 or something, so it really stands out. So you can document that here. You can document all the different types of quality codes, Another thing we recommend is not to have any blanks in your data, so we recommend NA for non-applicable. Also, you can list any articles that your actual data set is referenced. And so you can give the DOI if it has one or a link, the article title, and the journal. If you use standard scripts for either QA/QC, reports, CPU calculations, you can also upload and save them in your metadata document. And if for some reason, if something else you have is not listed and above the template, this is where you put it in the notes and comments section. So for my data set, it is one of the stations is the same station that another IEP study collects at. And so I have that listed here as station 10 is the same station as P8 from IEP's environmental monitoring program. So that's really helpful for synthesis efforts to see, who's collecting at certain stations. And so we're kind of setting up the stage for Melinda. So we just talked about the Word document here, but she's going to kind of take it from here and making it to machine readable. And this is an example of my data set on the Environmental Data Initiative. And with that, we'll take any questions you have, and Melinda will continue the magic.
Menti? Yeah. You have it on there? Yeah, go ahead.
You talked about just at the end putting having a notes and comments section, which, it could be general. There's lots of things you can just throw in there. But it sounds like what you added was something specific that would be helpful for synthesis. So why not pull out some of those synthesis related information into something more tailored for that?
Yeah, that's a great point, and maybe that's something we should consider as a Doug to make things pop out easier.
Okay.
So you absolutely could do that in your metadata. However, for the Environmental Data Initiative, they actually have online tools for synthesis creation where they track the provenance for you. So it tells you what data sets you pulled in and what you did to them. And so it tracks it along the way. And so that will also allow for people to later go back and look at that and know what you did to create that new data set.
If you have a question and you don't know the gentleman's name, it's Mike. So Mike has the mic if you want to call him over as well. And we're checking Mentimeter, so that's why I keep checking my phone. If you have any other questions, we'll give you another. Yeah, go for it.
I enjoyed your discussion of the bounding box. Paul Vase, State Parks. Your two-dimensional explanation was clear. What vertical datum has been circulated in the community for elevations?
Oh, Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone know that question? Yeah, it's I think we focus more on water and, I'm kind of thinking satellite imagery kind of thing, or there's...
Elevations of sampling stations, elevations.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I know a lot of our. I've seen NAV. Is it? I know there's one that's used pretty frequently. We haven't come up with a recommended standard, but I know in the Delta, one of the issues that we've come up with is the problem with tidal datums, because they're not well described in the Delta, and there have been some issues with that. But so long as you document what datum you're using, that's the most important part. And that way, if people are using different datums, we can figure out how to convert them.
Great point. Thanks, Rosie. And I'll check Mentimeter one more time. I think that's it. So thank you very much.
Okay, so last but not least is data publishing. And this really is a big moment. It's a time for celebration in my mind. And the reason why is because it brings together all of the other components that you've been hearing about today. If you have great DMPs, QA, QC standards, as well as metadata, they all become part of this data publishing effort to make sure that you are putting out data with high integrity and credibility. So just to give you a broad overview to start off with what data publishing really means, what it is taking a data set as well as that metadata, the description of the data, and combining it together into a package. So these two things stay together because they're important to always have the ability to confer the metadata when you're looking at the data. And from this package, it gets assigned a digital object identifier, or DOI, which I'll be explaining that in just a few slides. Now, once the DOI is assigned, what you can do then is create a citation from it. And so, as Rachel said, this can be put into your actual, or maybe it was Vanessa said, that you can put it into your CV as far as this is something creditable for you as a data generator to be able to put that this was a product that you delivered. And then additionally, you get to enjoy the benefits of making your data more findable. You can also track who is using your data via citations, measure its overall impact to the community as well as the global community of scientists, and make it more reusable so that it does get increased exposure and coverage. Okay, so just wanted to start off then, now that we've got that overview, with what is data publishing. Really what it means is releasing research data sets and associated information, that metadata, in published form for reuse by others. So one reason that we promote doing it is because sometimes in our office, for instance, people are getting a lot of data requests because we do a lot of long-term ecological monitoring. And so this allows you to stop getting all of these data requests because all you have to do is refer them to your online data, and then you can start working on your projects again. So it's a good thing, and IEP is really encouraging data users to start making their data more accessible for people. Okay, citations with DOIs. So DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier, and basically it is this very long alphanumeric string that is both persistent. It's a persistent link to the location of your data and the metadata, so that package that goes together. And it can do a lot of things for you, such as it is a universally recognized identifier, and it facilitates the data discovery, transparency, and usage tracking. So because it retains with the data and metadata, you then are enabled to be able to look at both the data itself as well as who is using the data, because you can link those two together. Another big feature of it is that it can allow you to document different versions of the data. So for some of our long-term monitoring, and even for some special studies, things change over time. And let's say that you put a data set out there, but now you have edited it and you want to share that with the world too. Well, you can do that, but you don't want to lose the ability for people to go and look at those prior versions, because let's say that you made conclusions on that prior version, and they're saying, that's not what I get with your data set. What if they're using a different version of your data set? So having all the versions available for people to access and know what version you used to make certain conclusions can be invaluable for understanding somebody's research. Additionally, the DOI, as I mentioned, the data and the metadata come in as a package deal, and so it allows for the retainment of that relationship with those two. All right, so I want to go through a couple different data publishing options for you. This hosting data on publicly available websites, such as an FTP site, is a very common way that in the past the Interagency Ecological Program has been making their data available. And as a matter of fact, here's the link to the IEP's data portal, where you can get both data and metadata for a lot of different data sets that IEP creates. Another option, which we've been speaking about a lot today, are data repositories. And what these repositories do are they allow you a place to be able to manage and store data sets for data analysis, sharing, and reporting. And so they're similar to that FTP site, but there's some advantages that we'll go through. Now, one particular place that you can go to find out what data repository options there are is the re3data.org. And this really is a great resource for figuring out, okay, this is the type of data that I have. What would be the most suitable repository for me? And it has a lot of hundreds, if not thousands, of options for you. So here are some of the more common data repositories that are used in our ecological type world. And we, as the data utilization work group, looked at all of these different data repositories and others, looking at a variety of metrics to try to figure out which data repository would work best for our needs. Another data publishing option is actually creating a data paper. So there are now scientific journals, which are, some are exclusively focused on data publication, but others allow for data publication in terms of that you can say this is a data paper versus this is a research paper. And so here's some examples of different journals, but there are many others that also allow for data papers to come out. And then lastly is the tried and true research article, which basically is what we're used to when you think about academic papers, where you would have hypotheses and conclusions, which are not in the data paper. The data paper would really be focusing more on the data itself. But for the research articles, you use the data to then make conclusions based on your hypotheses. And in that case, your data would be instead a supplementary file that you could append to the article. Now, when you think about the time that it takes to do these four possibilities, really a research article, as you know, many of us have experience with, takes more time to do. It can take a lot of time. And then going down to the opposite extreme of data on a website, where really there is very little requirements of what you put into that, other than what your particular organization might mandate. But then it really is a continuum here. And one thing that I just want everybody to keep in mind when you're deciding on what to do is that the data on a website does not allow you to get a DOI. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of benefits to having a DOI. And so for IEP as an organization, that is why we moved forward with doing data repositories, because it's that next step of time spent publishing. It is more time, it is true, than doing it on the website, but it ensures that we can really track our data and make it up to really high quality standards and increase our accessibility and transparency. Okay, so now it's Mentimeter time. And what data publishing options have you previously used? Let me go to Mentimeter. So your options are data on public website, such as like an FTP, data repository, data paper, research article, or supplemental data. And you can select as many as are applicable for you. Okay, so data on public website is definitely pretty common, which isn't too surprising because that really is like the way that we've been doing it historically, and now we're starting to think about is it the way that we want to continue doing it? And for some data sets, it might make sense. So you really need to think about your data set and what you are hoping to achieve by that data set. We do feel that for the long-term monitoring, we really want to move them into increased accessibility. And so it's good. A fair amount have also done data repositories as well as research article. The Nutria did a data paper. Yes.
What is this census sampling?
I'm sorry?
What is this?
It's just from our audience. Yes, yes. So yeah, so people, I don't know if you were here for the beginning part, but okay. So you can go on menti.com and type in this code 517048. And so people in the audience as well as that are looking online can do this. Okay, so let's move on from this one. And the next question is, what data publishing options do you plan to use in the future that you think might be beneficial for you and your team? Well, that's super encouraging. I suppose it's not too surprising, given that you're here today, that you might be interested in going on a data repository. But that's really one of our missions of coming here today, is that we're hoping to really get the word out and let you know that you're not alone, that we are here to help you to try to increase the amount of material that our community is getting out there in data repositories, because we think that that DOI is a really important thing to have. Okay. All right, so let's go on. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind in terms of data publishing when you're doing it, best practices. So one is to obviously include that metadata. So for instance, in the EDI, Environmental Data Initiative, which we'll be talking about in a moment, that is a requirement to have metadata, and certain fields of the metadata are considered so essential that they are required. I hope by the end of the metadata presentation that you felt sure that it's important. Additionally, the QA/QC and clean data, that you need to do before submitting, as well as data repositories sometimes have tools available for checking errors as well. But you shouldn't rely on that. You should already have done a lot of QA/QC in-house beforehand to make sure that you're putting data of high integrity out there. Additionally, you want to structure your data in a way that makes reuse easier. So Jenna talked about this just a little bit in terms of, the idea that you want to make sure that you include everything that your user might need so you want to have an understanding of your users and what they're using your data for, and then make sure that you are putting all of that information in both your metadata as well as your data, and think about that. So for instance, if you are putting out a lot of biological data on various species abundance, but people typically want to know, well, what environmental parameters go with that? Make sure to include those critical environmental parameters as well in your data. Additionally, controlled vocabulary. The one that we're recommending is the long-term ecological research, or LTER vocabulary. So controlled vocabulary really helps if we all use common vocabulary, it is easier to find versus being like, oh, what's another name for that is this. It can get more time consuming if that happens. Additionally, the DOI, we believe that obtaining a DOI is a very useful thing for data publishing. and you want to update it with a frequency that makes sense for you and your group. So all depends on how frequently you're getting new data in and how frequently your users depend on receiving that data. So for instance, let's say that you're doing a long-term monitoring study that goes out every week and managers and others are looking to that data. You might want to be publishing with more frequency or than somebody that is instead doing, no, I go out for one season a year and I collect my data. That would be more of an annual type of update. I will say that once you have created all of this once, the updating process is much, much easier for you. Okay, so getting on to EDI. So that's what we call the Environmental Data Initiative, and that is the data repository that IEP, as I mentioned, we looked into a lot of different data repositories, and we decided that EDI would be the one that we would go forward with on recommending for IEP data sets. And the reason why, some of the reasons why are shown here. So you can generate a DOI. EDI automatically generates the DOI from you when you publish the data. It also, EDI, as its name implies, Environmental Data Initiative. It focuses on the curation and archiving of both environmental and ecological data. Not only that, but they have a particular emphasis. They'll do special studies, like one-off studies, but they also really focus on long-term ecological data. They are the chosen repository for the Long-Term Ecological Research, or LTER, network. And so they have a lot of experience with our type of data and being able to answer questions related to it. They also have really rigorous metadata standards. That ecological metadata language, or EML language, is what they use. And as I mentioned, they have some QC checks in addition to whatever you did prior. They have version control. And so basically, as I mentioned, that means that they have the ability to have a user go back and look at prior versions along the way. They're all within the platform as you continue updating. Fast data exports, which we're actually going to do in just a moment. I'm going to show you how you can do it. And the EDI is free. Now, it says that they have told us that once you move into terabyte data sets, that we'd have to discuss, like, that there might be a fee associated with that, but gigabyte, hundreds of gigabytes is fine. And so, so far, we have not come close to that. You might if you start using a lot of spatial data or things that are really intensive, but for now, we haven't run into that. And additionally, so it is NSF funded, and they have considerable resources and personal support. They are very responsive to us, like in terms of if you write them, usually within 1, maybe 2 hours, you'll be hearing back a response. So it's great. And in a couple slides, I'll give you some contact information for people. As Lauren asked the question about data synthesis, and they do have support for data synthesis efforts in terms of tracking the provenance. They're also developing various synthesis tools. So NC's, the National Center for, I shouldn't have even started that because I always forget what it is. What is it, Vanessa?
National Center for Ecological Analysis and Synthesis.
Thank you. They also work with EDI as well, and so doing synthesis projects is something that you can absolutely do within the EDI framework. And as discussed before, it is interoperable, so it can both be read by humans as well as machines, and it allows for Creative Commons attribution. Okay, so far, we started this process a little over a year ago, and we have now 4 IEP data sets in EDI, and some of these are not the first go. So some of them have been versioned, so as people have updated. So for instance, both the Delta Juvenile Fish Monitoring Program, that first one, as well as the Yellow Bypass Fish Monitoring Program, both have multiple versions. Okay, so getting started with EDI, what you want to consider in terms of, there are 2 ways of going about publishing. One is that EDI makes it simple for you. You send them your clean data, and that Word doc that we just went through on the metadata. You fill it out, and then you send them these two things, and they do it for you. So it's easy. However, there is also a do-it-yourself, and so that's with our code. And we've experimented with both of them. And our advice is that the one where they do all of the work is really good when you have just a few data sets, you're an inexperienced R user, you're not gonna update it that much, so you don't really need to work with it. Versus the do-it-yourself is more for those people that really want the control. You are experienced in R, or you wanna learn R, and this would be a good way to do so. You make more frequent updates, so then you don't have to rely on somebody else to do this for you. You have more data sets, so you just want a streamlined process. But regardless of what method you choose, help is available. So we have instructions on our GitHub, as well as the EDI, as I mentioned, has great support staff. And so here are the primary people that we reach out to. Corinna is the primary investigator of EDI, and so she's usually our first point of contact, and she'll let you know if it needs to be moved on to someone else. But additionally, for those, you also have the data utilization work group. The IEP Doug is really wanting to help the community move forward in open data publishing, and you can reach out to any of the Doug members that you know. But if you don't know any of them, first of all, like a lot of us are wearing these shirts today, so feel free to come talk to us. But co-chairs for the Doug are Rosemary Hartman, who gave presentation, and Steve Culberson, so you can reach out to them as well. Okay, so in this final bit, I wanted to show you a couple things about EDI itself that I think are handy. All right, so to go onto the Environmental Data Initiative website, all you have to do is just type in environmentaldatainitiative.org, or just type out Environmental Data Initiative. Don't do EDI, it doesn't really work well because it's too common. Okay, so once you're on that, this is like its starting screen, and so if you want to learn more about them and you know, all various things, you can look on this, but there's a few things I want to point out. One is under events is training, webinars, and workshops. And so on this, when I was first getting started thinking about open science, I went to this and found this previous events with links to available recordings. They have so much stuff on there that you can look at. Like, let's say you're like, you know, I want to know how to best create my title for metadata. They actually have like a webinar on that. And so they have all sorts of different things that you can look at when you're interested in delving into this. And some of it's more like open science, big picture, and then other parts are, no, let's get into the nitty gritty on how to create the best metadata, things like that. So I found this quite useful. But let's go to, let's say we actually wanted to grab some data from EDI. So what you can do, I'm sorry, I just did that without thinking. I didn't tell you what I was doing. Let me go back. Maybe, oh, okay, there. Okay, so data, and then EDI data portal. There are other ways of accessing the data as well, such as Data One and other Google data. There's a variety of ways that you can access this. And of course, using the DOI link is a very popular way to access it as well. So let's say you just wanted to find IEP data sets. We're lucky that no one else is using that acronym on EDI. And so when you type in IEP, you see the 4 IEP data sets. Now you can also see right here, it's package ID number. So anything that has a .1, that means it's the first version. And other dots are showing you second version or third version. And so you know that you could go in and see other ones as well. So let me show you an example. So I'm clicking here on the fish restoration programs, and let's say you wanted to go and see a prior version. All you would do is click on this previous revision, or you could see all of them, and then it would show you that, and then you could upload that. Now, if you want to actually just go ahead and upload, they have these really nice, like let's say you want to use it in R. So what you would do is you just click on this little R button right here, and then you can download it. So here, now you have a .r file download. So you would just hit that, and then, and I can do that. So now you can see it right here. And then you would just click on that, and it opens up in R. So I've already put it in. And so here it is. So it just opens up in your R, and then all you have to do is say, okay, run it. And now it's grabbing the data for you. So for this one, they have a couple different files, data files that they put in. If anybody has any issues with this or wants to know, please come in the afternoon and we'll be happy to show you how to do this. So after you do that, then you can see over here in your environment, you have all these different files. And so you can easily just go ahead and start opening them and working with them. It's that easy to get the data, which is great. Okay, last thing I wanted to show you on EDI is that another important thing in our minds as far as getting this data out there is making sure that we talk about when things are available. That also makes things findable for people. And so we encourage for people, when you release a data set, put it on social media. Let people know that you have a data set. It allows for people to start using your data, which ultimately we should all want. No one wants to be that person that says no one cares. And so if you go to data, featured data contributions, one way, so in addition to tweeting and putting it on websites and things like that where the data is available, you can also do on EDI, featured data contributions. And for the featured data contributions, they change each month, but we have done it twice now where we work with somebody at EDI. Basically, they take our metadata and create this like whole thing where they ask for like a picture and a graphic. And so this then, EDI is a repository that is used by ecologists all over the world. And so this is giving our local data a global platform for people to be able to see what we're doing and why we think it's important. And so getting the word out however you can would be really useful, not just within our community, but the greater community as well. And so this gives you an example of one way that we can do that. But I think we should continue to have conversations and talk about alternatives for that. And I think that is it, and I'm happy to take any questions.
For the different versions on EDI, is there like a summary of what changed in the versions?
Yes, I believe that there is. Let's go to. I believe it's in the metadata. You write the version changes that were made, so that you can see that. A lot of times the version can be something as simple as I've added new data to it, but it can also be things where it was like, oh, I messed up last time, and actually like you'll want to use this one instead, that sort of thing. We've actually done both, so.
Am I understanding correctly when you showed us the example where you exported the data in R, that data wasn't necessarily uploaded in that format, but it can be exported in that format?
In R format, you mean? Yes, exactly. Yes, it is put into EDI, not exactly like that, yeah. Sure.
Posting to EDI, how much curation should we do? So suspect values found by QC, but no edits were made. Should you leave the value in there, take it out, add a disclaimer?
This is where it starts getting into personal preference. So we all want our data to be perfect, obviously, but it's not ever going to be. And so there are going to be times when you say, okay, I have done a lot of QA/QC that I can think of. And there might still be errors, and it's a continual process to try to remove those errors. But it doesn't mean that you should wait for perfection to get your data out there. Definitely, I never would recommend personally putting raw data onto a data platform because it, first of all, might not make you look like the greatest researcher because there would be so many errors. But additionally, you don't want for misuse. That's something that we've talked about. You don't want your data to be misused. And so definitely do QA/QC checks, but don't wait for it to be perfect.
So when you get a DOI, can a scientific aide who worked on the project get credit, or just the PIs would be associated with that DOI?
Another great question. So for that one, it is very similar. It is a personal preference. So we are not posing to people that we are going to give recommendations on who would be the people that wind up on that. That is something that the program and data manager probably need to have a conversation about, because it's just the same as any other publication where people have very different opinions about what warrants authorship. And at this point in time, the DUG is not making specific recommendations. You need to, as a program, decide how you're going to make those decisions.
Though I'll add to that, one of the nice things about the way the metadata works on EDI is that you have the people, the PIs usually, who are considered the authors and whose name would be in a citation, but there's also a space for associated personnel. Where you can put like every scientific aide who worked on the project if you want to, so that they can say, hey, my name is associated with this DOI, even if I'm not an author on it. The one other question we had about EDI was, how secure are these data repositories? You know, could someone hack in and mess with your data?
So I am not an IT person, and so I have not reviewed their security measures. However, as I mentioned, the long-term ecological research group that is NSF funded and has been around for many, many decades trusts this data platform to store their long-term ecological data. And that is a pretty big thumbs up for what they are doing. And I would say that at this point in time, I have never heard of a data breach. I'd be surprised if that were to, boy, that would be crazy if somebody went and hacked in. Yeah, probably if you have those skills, you're probably aiming for more lucrative purposes than changing our ecological data. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Mm-mm. Jenna, do you have it?
Did you have it pulled up?
Yeah, they want to know how it's related to the CNRA.
Oh, okay. All right. So right now we have been working with the CNRA portal as well to try to make sure that the data that is on EDI can be uploaded into the CNRA, that they can just pull the data from EDI into the CNRA portal. And so we're continuing to try and make that process as seamless as possible. Right now, you know, both are just in their infancy, and so we are still working on making that process be seamless. But we anticipate fully that will happen in the near future.
And we had one more question here, whether there was criteria that we list on our GitHub site about what's meant by clean data that's appropriate for submitting to EDI. And I'm guessing this is another personal preference answer.
Yeah, I believe it is as well. It's very similar to what we've discussed before in terms of the idea that QA/QC is something where you can keep going like again and again and again, but at some point you should probably call it stops. And at this point in time, it is not something that the DUG has taken up to say, okay, these are our recommended standards. Rachel, do you want to speak to this at all, if that's something that might be interested in doing in the future?
Right, I guess I'm just, from a QAQC standpoint, yeah, you just want to make sure that you've gone through and done a level of review. And if you have a QA program in your agency, there may be some guidance that they can provide for how your agency is wanting to, what level of QA/QC should those data sets go through before being uploaded. So.
And I think the critical part is that you document what you have done so that your user knows what level of QC you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, any last call for questions?
For any section of our talk today.
Yes. Any questions for the whole program? All right. Well, I just want to say thank you all for joining us. We're going to break for lunch now. So anyone who is interested in coming back and maybe getting a little hands-on help with their metadata, uploading their data sets of DOI, quality assurance, open data questions, feel free to come back. If I could get like a raise of hands to see what folks are planning on coming back for that workshopping. All right. Not too many. Okay, so we will be here if you want to come back and get a little hands-on help. I also want to say a big thanks to all of our speakers today. I think we had hoping we could provided a lot of good information and some ideas of where you can go to dig deeper on some of these topics. I also want to say, thanks to our QA program staff. Tracy Trelevin helped keep us on time, and Mike Head helped with the microphones, and Sonia Miller with all the logistics and so forth. And so thank you. All right. Enjoy your lunch, everyone.
Nice job.